Thank you.
What attracted you to this project?
For me, I was excited to tell the story of
I
kind
didn't
of.
mean you answer. I meant you
Oh.
attracted me to this project.
Oh. You attracted me and everyone I
Don't
know
lie,
in general.
okay?
Everyone's attracted to Robbie. I liked this story because it is like the anti-hero. It's the sort of messy, not together, not clean, person that's kind of usually I think gets categorized as like the friend or the wacky, silly, whatever, and I think there's like a real trend of even just humanity-wise, like categorizing and labeling things and putting them in boxes and limiting them. And I think especially like in schools, or everywhere, but I really was bullied a lot in school, and even in Hollywood, I feel like I sometimes get labeled or limited, and it was really important to me to tell this story to everyone that's ever felt like they have been put in a box that didn't serve them, or people that are in school and it can feel so isolating to be bullied or feel like you don't fit in. And it was just really important to me to at least communicate, like, just so from the bottom of my heart, I was in this situation when I was you and I was in school. I still struggle with it. It's something I think we can all relate to in some form or another. So it was really important to me to kind of like tell that story and communicate that with the world.
Yeah, I think it's really rare to read a script and not only enjoy it from, a funny, entertaining standpoint, but also take away a good message from it. A lot of times, if it's got one, it doesn't have the other, and to find one with both was pretty special.
Very good. Can you talk about your characters, and when we meet them at the beginning of the film, they're already friends, and there's that long-term friendship that they have, and then they kind of team up and things start to happen. Can you kind of discuss that, both elements there?
We both really liked that they were longtime friends, because I think that's something that separates it from most movies that are similar. They have that history, that type of friendship where even though they may not hang out every day, they have so much history that they can say things to each other that you wouldn't normally be able to say to a stranger.
Yeah, and it kind of transcends. That's one of my favorite elements of this story, and I think it kind of transcends because I feel like, we kind of start out, I think everybody remembers the moment that they were aware of themselves, and then somebody else was like, hey, I'm going to say something that I think about you, and I'm going to tell you that it's bad. And you're like, oh, what? Oh, I thought, whatever, and insecurities, and you sort of were like, oh, that was never an insecurity before you're telling me it's bad. And so I think, like, I love that they were already friends, because it's kind of like their, chemistry is natural, and whether, they split off into different interests or groups or whatever, that kind of came later. But the natural, chemistry that they have is what it is and always has been.
Mm-hmm. And there's definitely chemistry. I feel like everybody reacts to that when they see the films. So that's
Oh,
great.
thanks. Yeah, we had a lot of fun together.
Good. Now, getting back to the genre, because teen comedy is one of my favorite genres, and I have in my DVD library a plethora of them. What are your favorite teen comedies?
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. We're both John Hughes fans.
Big John Hughes. I love Some Kind of Wonderful. And, I mean, obviously, Mean Girls and Clueless was a big one for me. I really loved.
We were talking about Ferris Bueller's
Ferris
Day Off
Bueller.
earlier.
I'd have to say that's my favorite.
So good.
And those people, I mean, what a bunch of weirdos. That was like not stereotypical stuff, That was like, those kids were all weird. I mean, even Ferris, who's like devastatingly popular, is like totally weird. He's like a weird dude. He's not, this your normal kind of guy. So I think that's
He was
a
before
great
his
example.
time.
Yeah, he was. Definitely. Yeah. So Atlanta, you shot in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any favorite memories from the set that you can share? Did you guys spend time all hanging out, the cast
Oh my God,
outside
yeah.
of the...
Should we do this story again?
Let's do it.
One of the first bonding experience we had was we went to a place called the Claremont Lounge, which is think of like a retirement home for strippers.
It's like an old dive bar / strip club, and everyone there is mature and has been at it for a while. It's a different aesthetic, if you will, and it's definitely like a thing that you do when you go to Atlanta. Everybody goes there and checks it out, and we were there, and there was a older lady on the stage dancing around without her clothes on, and all of a sudden, without her teeth on, and all of a sudden she whipped around and looked directly across a huge crowded room right at Robbie in the eyes and started screaming at him like, "Rah, rah," and we were all like, oh my God, and she was like, "Rah," and like started like coming at Robbie, and we were all like making a plan to like fend her off. And then as she got closer, we could like barely make out that she was like, Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise,
Oh my
like
God.
screaming and like pointing Tom Cruise at Robbie
That's awesome.
to
Oh my
everyone in the
goodness.
entire place. So that was like day 3 or 4 of us all hanging out. So we were like, well, it was nice to meet you. That was interesting. I'll see you later. But it really was like so special. And then we ended up like, my friend Roz was there as well, and she had like a really cool list of stuff for us to do. So we found all these like secret places and cool restaurants, and we found this great place called the Kimball House that was amazing, and we hung out
Great
a lot
food.
at there was a church karaoke bar where you like dress up in church robes and like a guy plays a church organ.
So good.
And you like sing along and stuff like at like a pulpit. It was so cool. Everybody there was amazing.
Braves game.
Yeah, we went to a Braves game. We ate a lot of like yogurt and food. We hung out offset, which is a big deal when Robbie and I were in most of the scenes. It was like a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort, and we were really tired, and usually you'd be like, get me out of here. But we just kind of wanted to keep hanging out, which is really lucky.
That's really
12-hour
good.
days, and then we'd still hang out.
Yeah.
That's really
saying
good.
something.
So did you going back to that story about the stripper? Did you say yes? I am Tom.
I said, yes, can I sign anything for you?
Yeah, it was really unbelievable.
The sweetest people in there. It was the weirdest, most fun night ever.
There was like an older like businessman like rapping Eminem songs at the karaoke.
It's the wildest
thing.
place
It really
I've ever
was
seen.
insane.
That sounds epic, actually.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty special.
Last question. If you had to say to audiences, this is what I hope you get out of this film, or this is what I think you'll get out of it, what would that be?
Well, first, I hope you laugh, because I think that we made a very funny movie, but I think it feels real enough that you can really take away the message that you shouldn't change yourself for anyone, that you should really feel good about who you are, and know that anyone who doesn't like you for something that they think is a flaw isn't worth your time anyway. So you should spend time with the people that love you for who you are and enjoy the time with them.
And I think to that point, the more introspective you are, the more you spend time working on learning who you are, which, by the way, it comes through challenges like what you face in high school. I feel like oftentimes, like, the harder it is, the better you come out on the other side. And I think if you have a perspective of the pain that you're going through and know that, like, the people that you think are cool and whoever they are in your life went through that exact same thing and came out being amazing, I think it's usually the people that shine the brightest that people try to tear down the most. So just like try to keep a perspective and don't let it stop you from growing and like cultivating who you want to be. And the more that you focus on that, the more the right people will come to you and surround you and make you your best self.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,